SignProx Part 1. First, how do we find SignProx? It might be on your desktop, right here. It could be bookmarked on your taskbar, right here. If you're having problems finding it, you can always click on the Windows button and start typing in sign. And there we go. Click on that and we'll wait a second for it to open up. And now it's open. What is the purpose of SignProx? The purpose of SignProx is to keep track of all the signs that we see in the videos. So here we have a sign that's recorded. That's what the green dot means. This information is then extracted and sent over to the customer about once a month. Navigating the main window. This is the main window. Within SignProx there are a few different sub-windows, but for now we are just going over the main window. We see here a kind of skeleton picture of Kentucky. These are all the roads that Kentucky wants checked out. At the top we have zoom in, zoom out. You can use your mouse wheel to roll forward to zoom in, roll it backwards to zoom out. Click the home to reset the view. The question mark gives you just a quick getting started guide and some YouTube videos. We're not going to do that. We're going to click start using SignProx to get rid of that. At the bottom we have a measurement tool. It goes from 0 to 438 miles. That's what these lines mean. This is 200 miles from this line to this line. As we zoom in, we're going to notice that our current zoom level changes and also the measurement here. So now we're at 1,000 feet, 500 feet, and you can see it goes down very, very close. So this is 15 feet between this line and this line. So we'll reset that with the house button. SignProx Premium version, that's what your version should say as well. If it says unregistered, contact your supervisor and we'll fix it for you. Repository is the repository or database. We use those terms interchangeably. That's open. Right now we have Zeke's Kentucky database is the one that's open. Latitude and longitude changes based on where your cursor is. And we already talked about the zoom level. At the top we have file. There's two things in here that's important. One is databases. The other one is Geocode video. Those are the two options that we're going to use from this main thing here. Next to that is tools. Again, two more. One is zoom to edit assembly, and the other important one is options. Tracking is for following along with a live GPS signal, which we don't have, so we're not going to use that. Help, there is help in here if you'd like to check out their website, do the getting started or about. You're welcome to do that in your own time, but we aren't covering that in this video. Setup, and the first part of setup is going to be the repository or database. From the main window, click File, hover Databases, and you pick the one that's your name. Right now, like we said before, we're on Zeke. I am not Zeke, I'm Jay, so I need to make sure that I click this to change it over. So we're going to watch this down here, and I'm going to click My Database now, and it changed from Zeke to Jay. Every person that works on your station has their sign information copied over or stored in this file right here called assets. Assets.mdb, Microsoft Access Database file. This is what one looks like after we've gathered up everybody's stuff for the month. We deliver about once a month. So when we extract this information, it makes it much easier to see who put in a sign. See, here's a sign saying somebody put in this sign, along with the inspector, the type, etc. It makes it much easier to figure out who did what if the repositories are correct. So let's try Colby's. So we see that Colby created this sign here, and he has a total of about 8,000 signs entered for the month. It just makes it a lot easier when we're trying to track who did what. So please be very careful and make sure that when you sit down to do your shift that you change over your database to the appropriate one. Next up is options. From the main window, we can just hit F12. I'm going to hit cancel. You can also get there under tools, options, and there's your F12 shortcut here. So I'm going to click this to open up the options. We don't worry about general or GPS. Point icons is something that you may adjust if you like. If you're having trouble seeing the little green dots or the red squares, this is where you change the size of them. You can also change the color of them. I don't recommend that, but if for some reason you're having troubles with it, you can change the colors. Or if somebody changed the colors and you'd like to reset them, this is what it should look like. It should be a green circle 12 and a red square 10. Session data is the one that we need to change. After we change our database or repository, we need to come to options and change our inspector. I'm not Zeke, so I'm going to put in my name. So now that we have inspector down, we're going to double check that the assembly type here is 1 period space single metal pole. We don't care about the offset. We do care about side of road. It should say right. And cardinal direction should be checked. And that's all that you need to do, is just to make sure that your inspector, assembly type, side of road, and cardinal direction are checked under options. Click OK to save it. And you're all set up and ready to start use SignProx. So, to recap, when you first open SignProx, File, Databases, click your name. Mine's open. I'm going to click it and it's just going to reopen it. That's all it does. That's fine. So File, Databases, and Tools, Options are the two that you have to set once you begin your shift. Geocode Video. What does Geocode Video even mean? It means that SignProx is taking the GPS coordinates from a video and tracking it on the map for you. To get to the Geocode video, that's this one here, opening a video. To open the video, we do File, Geocode Video. That was one of the ones we talked about just a second ago. And we do video from GoPro. We never do video from SignProx. We have GoPro cameras that are out in the wild that we recorded from. So we do video from GoPro. This is one of those sub windows, and that is the Geocode Video window. We have File, Open Video, your videos more than likely are stored not on your C drive. So we are going to pretend that this is my D drive, and it'll say DCIM, and it may say even 101 GoPro or 102 GoPro. Whatever it says, you need to make sure that you check all the folders on that card. So let's go to 100 GoPro, and we see here we have the video K07257. You should have quite a few more than just one, but we just have one for an example. You can double click this, or you can just highlight it and then click open. I'm going to mute it, and we're going to click the pause button because we don't actually want to watch the video right this second. If this box is checked where it says unpause video after adding assembly, we don't want that checked. We want that unchecked. Okay, video player controls. So we have obviously play, pause, we'll wait for it to start playing, and pause. Pauses the video. It keeps track of where you are. The stop button you need to be very careful with, because if you're in the middle of a video and you accidentally hit the stop button, it will completely stop your video and reset it to the beginning. If I click play, it's just going to start the video over, and then you have to try to remember exactly where you were in the video when you hit the stop button. So just be very careful with that. We also have, besides the file open video, we have view full screen, and that will make the video full screen. We can get out of it by double clicking, and we'll see if it's going to work. If we double click in the middle, it should make a big video, and there'll be a little exit button. There it is, exit full screen mode down here, so we're going to click that to exit full screen mode. Speed you're not going to use. You really need to just be watching the video at regular speed, and then when you get close to a sign, you can use the frame controls. Go back a frame or go forward a frame. I recommend go forward a frame, which is Control plus E. Going backward a frame is pretty stressful on your computer, and it'll slow it down quite a bit. So let's see if we can find a sign here. I believe there was one at... Okay, good. So here comes the sign up here, right up here. I'm going to pause it. And these controls only work while it is in windowed mode. None of these controls work in full screen. If you're in full screen, you need to use the big blue controls that appear at the bottom. So while it's in this mode, I'm going to hold Control, and I'm going to tap the E button, and you can see for every time I tap it, it advances one frame. You don't want to hold this down. If you hold it down and your computer is not a very powerful computer, it can lock up your computer for 30 seconds or a minute while it steps forward through every frame. So I'm going to tap this about 5 or 6 times, and we'll let it creep up to the sign. And once you get close enough, you can then actually begin to mark the signs. And we probably should have stopped it or paused the video just a little bit closer to the sign, but that's fine, just to show you that you do have very granular control about where the sign appears on the video and at what point that you mark it. So we can mark it right here. We're very close. You can also mark it right to the edge of the screen. That's perfectly fine too. Frame backwards does work, Control W, but again, it's pretty stressful on your computer, and you're better off just using Control E as you creep up there. Now, as we watch the video, we have scrubbing controls. Pressing the number 1 will rewind the video 10 seconds. Number 2 will jump it back 8 seconds. Number 3 we'll jump it back 6 seconds. 4 is 4 seconds. 5 will reset it 2 seconds. And let's pause it so we can get a better idea of what this does. Now number 6, it starts to go forward by 2 to 3 seconds. It's supposed to be 2 seconds, but it just depends on where your timer is. 7 is going to go 4 seconds. 8 is 6. 9 goes 8 seconds. And the number 0 goes a whopping 10 seconds forward at a time. So if you need to skip around in your video a little bit, feel free to use the numbers 1 through 0. Again, these only work in windowed mode. They do not work in full screen mode. When you're done watching your whole video, you get to the end, and this video should end in just a second. When you're all done, you need to close this window. Do not use this window to reopen a new video. You need to close it to clear out all the information that it had, and then open a new one by going back to File, Geocode Video, Video from GoPro. You're going to only be closing this video after you watch an entire video, so it's really not a big deal for you to close it out, go back in, and open one, because the videos are anywhere from 12 to 20 minutes long, and it's going to take you a while to watch a video. That'll do it. In the next video, we're going to go over how to actually take apart a route or a video and pre-process it.